Need help marketing your startup? Well, then you should check out omnipublic.global. That's what they specialize in, is marketing for startups. And we want to thank them today for being our sponsor of the Grit Daily Like a Boss podcast.
Oxygen, 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 oxygen. We need it, we need it. Like oxygen, oxygen. It's why we breathe it. Like a boss, like water, like a boss, like a boss, like a boss.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Grit Daily Like a Boss podcast. I am your host, Loralyn Mears, and today we've got a guest from Latin America. Her name is Luciana Carvalho. She's the VP of People and Performance at Movile, and she is really bringing forth a whole new way that's being taught into graduate programs in schools very prestigious, including Harvard and Stanford. And it's all about, how do you come on board and become a tech startup? How are you positioned for success? And of course, the group that she represents with Mobile has a very big footprint across not only Latin America, but beyond, with all of its retail and shipping and food services industry. So with that, let me welcome Luciana.
Thank you, Loralyn. Nice to meet you, and thank you very much for having me here.
Well, we're really excited because you've got a lot of things going on. So maybe before we get into all of the rest of it that Mobile Group is doing and working about, you've done some really wonderful things in your past, not only working for one of the breweries that was later acquired by Anheuser-Busch, but your work around the Mobile Dream internship program. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, sure. I think it's very important to give a step back and explain a little bit more about what we actually do here at Movile. So we are a company that invests and develops a startup with a focus on people and technology. So Movile companies can reach their maximal potential. We are a São Paulo-based tech investment group, and we have this huge dream that is make lives better for 1 billion people. And the Mobile Dream program is actually part of the achievement of this big dream. And so when we launched Mobile Dream program in 2015, as an initiative to hire interns for all tech companies in our growing ecosystem. So at that time, there was not only the need to develop talent at home as a strategy for us to be less dependent on external hires, but also a way to bring Movile closer to the university environment. So we defined at that time 3 main objectives for the program that are: find the future business leaders and up and coming talent for our companies. We understand that a door for young talent must accelerate their careers and let them grow professionally. The second one was create and evolve the programs into being the best in the country, if not the world. And the last one, add more diversity to the workforce across our ecosystem.
Now, in your role as the VP of People and Performance at Movile, is bringing those objectives forward, is that really your primary responsibility, or are you more tasked with helping to identify some of the startups in which you folks make investments?
I think is my primary role in the end of the day, the thing that is more important in my position now.
Luciana, tell us a little bit about the tech scene right now in Sao Paulo.
Great question, Laurie. Honestly, I don't see that São Paulo or Brazil are in a different position than any other country in the world in terms of competition for tech talent and all this stuff. So the truth is we are living in a world war for talent, and I really see that São Paulo and Brazil are facing the same issues with a little bit more complexity because we live in an unstable economy with a fluctuation in our currency in relation to Europe and United States. And this naturally puts us in a more vulnerable position in this competition for talent and all this stuff.
What can you say about the growth of the Mobile Way program? It's been around 5-6 years now. Can you talk about how that program has grown, how many people it's impacted?
Actually, the Mobile Way is not a program. The Mobile Way is, in a simple terms, our way of acting and thinking. And for that, there are some assumptions that are very important, like we focus on our people. So they are indeed our most valuable asset. We believe that there is no way for a company to be successful if people are not the most important thing. The second one is we believe in discipline and innovation at the same time. And we call this an ambidextrous culture. So we reinvent ourselves every semester. We have 100 ideas a year and 98 go very wrong. But for those two that do work, we truly believe that discipline in execution is the main aspect for us to be successful. We think too big, so we are ambitious, bold, fearless, but at the same time we are obsessed with results, and this combination that has made us grow 200 times in the last 10 years, and now we have the biggest food delivery company in Latin America. We have the most important live event company in Latin America. We believe in transparency and transparency about our strategy, about what we think of each other. We believe in the concept of face the brutal facts, and obviously with respect and genuine interest in improve the performance of the company and people. I like to say that. So if what you have to say to someone is just something to reinforce your ego without the real interest in making things better, just keep it to yourself. And last but not least, we believe in simplicity and more than complexity. So this is a little bit about the Mobile Way.
Oh, I love that. And thank you for correcting me. I thought it was a program, but it really stands for a whole set of corporate values and sort of the ethos of the corporate culture. And it's probably part of the large reason why you guys have had such tremendous success at 200x growth. That's incredible. It's amazing what people can do when they feel valued.
Yes, that's right. And I would say, Loralyn, that for me, if there is a recipe, for me, it would be this ambidextrous culture. And I really like to talk about it because to explain how we think this concept, I like to bring a little bit of mythology to contextualize. I don't know if the audience knows, but there was a Roman god called Janus, and this god had two sets of eyes. One pair focusing on what lay behind, and the other one what lay ahead. This ambidextrous culture is not more than preparing the organization to be able to constantly look back, paying attention on the products and process of the past while looking ahead, preparing itself for the innovations and will define the future. So this requires the company to explore new opportunities while working to exploit existing capabilities. And I think this is because of that, we are extremely successful in our companies.
Oh, and I love that. So let's look out through Janus's second pair of eyes where we're looking to the future. What does the success look like as you define it for you personally, Luciana, and for Mobile?
I think for me, the success is to be able to achieve our huge mission, because in the end of the day, we want to make lives better for 1 billion people, and we are working hard to achieve that.
What do you wish that you knew before you entered this role? If you could go back, you've been in the role now a number of years, and you could say, geez, I wish someone had told me that the day I started.
Oh, that's a great question, but I think that I will probably get it wrong more than I get it right. And that's okay, because that is part of the journey to success.
People end up being so self-critical, but this is how we learn. It's what we need to do. Now, on the topic, we were Janos and looking forward, and now we're in the theme of looking back. I'm going to give you some magic pixie dust. And Luciana, you get to take my magic pixie dust and you get to throw it on one thing in your past that you can undo. What do you change?
Wow. What I would change. You know, Laurie, this is something that many people asked me, and I would say that I would have made more career moves leaving HR, because I did this in the past. I went to finance and going to another areas of expertise, because I did it once, as I mentioned, and it wasn't one of the best professional experience that I have had, because give me the possibility to see the corporation in a different point of view. And this was extremely important to me as an HR person right now.
Is there something that you want to share that you feel comfortable sharing publicly about the hardest lesson, either personally or professionally, that you ever had to work your way through?
The hardest thing that I had to do in my career always is to have to fire people, because in my position, it's common that I need to do that. And this is hard, not because of the performance or something like that, but because in the end of the day, I'm ruining someone's dream. Because when I decided to go to a company, I'm going because of a dream, and in the end of the day, I'm ruining that. So this is the hardest thing that I ever did in my career.
Yeah, a lot of the female, executives that I speak to here have difficulty with that. They seem to be more emotionally connected with the outcomes and with the person who's being impacted by that negative decision for whatever reason. That's not to say we don't have, men. I've had male guests on here who have said, they've gone home and cried. They put up the tough face, they got to do it, and then they go home and, they're destroyed inside, but on the outside, they can't let it show.
But I think for a woman, is much easier to be vulnerable than for men in the end of the day.
Keeping in that theme then, that's a nice segue. You're queuing up all my questions really nicely, Luciana, do you have some advice for this next generation of women in tech?
I think I'm going to risk being cliche on my answer, but my best advice would be yourself. There's nothing worse than lack of authenticity. So you don't have, as a woman, to compete with your male peers or boss. Just be aware of your strengths and weaknesses and use them to your advantage.
That's wonderful. There's something to be said where it's so much better for self-confidence, for success, is if you compare yourself to your own behaviors.
Yes.
Not to everyone else. Everyone else is on a different journey.
Yes, that's it. I really love to say that compare yourself with what you were in the past. If you are a better person, so that's fine. You are in the right way. If not, maybe there are some adjustments to be made in your career or in your life.
Excellent advice. And then, so now let's turn things around. You've been very happy to help us and give advice and share some of your experiences. How can our audience help you
I would really appreciate feedback on everything we are talking about right now. So my LinkedIn profile is open for that. So I'd love to hear if what I'm saying makes sense to you or not, and maybe any advices on what is not doing well or something like that.
Okay, will do. Now, last question of the podcast, which is the fun one. And if we had to identify a pair of shoes or boots or stilettos or sneakers or something else that best represented your personality, what is it?
Wow, I'd say that sneakers, because I see myself as practical, flexible, and with high adaptability.
Excellent. Well, thank you for bringing in all those soft skills and pieces there, because we're hearing a lot about that these days, that some of the next generation needs to be trained in that. And it's wonderful that you've got this internship program and these constructs to really help the next generation of leaders make a tremendous impact on the billion people of Brazil and beyond. Really, there's huge potential for global impact.
Yes, yes, totally agree. I think we are very proud of what we have built here in Brazil and Latin America. We have a lot of great companies in our portfolio. So a strong culture, a mature management model, and I think these elements that helped us to be so successful until now.
Well, congratulations on 200x growth. And I hope that Movile, posts another 200 or 2000x growth. So with that, I just want to thank you again, Luciana Carvalho, the VP of People and Performance at Movile, from joining us all the way from Sao Paulo, Brazil, for sharing your time and your insights today. Thank you, Luciana.
Thank you.
And how about that fantastic intro by Touch Circle?